Hey guys, today we're going to be writing an alternative ending for a story. The story that we're going to be using today is The Tunnel by Anthony Browne. I really like this story because I find it quite mysterious and it builds up a lot of suspense. Let's get started. So here's the story that we're going to be reading. It's called The Tunnel by Anthony Browne. Feel free to read along with me at home as well. Once upon a time, there lived a sister and brother who were not at all alike. In every way, they were different. The sister stayed inside on her own, reading and dreaming. The brother played outside with his friends, laughing and shouting, throwing and kicking, roughing and tumbling. At night, he slept soundly in his room, but she would lie awake, listening to the noises of the night. Sometimes he crept into her room to frighten her, for he knew that she was afraid of the dark. Whenever they were together, they fought and argued noisily, all the time. One morning, their mother grew impatient with them. "Out you go together," she said, "and try to be nice to each other, just for once, and be back in time for lunch." But the boy didn't want his little sister with him. They went to a piece of waste ground. "Why did you have to come?" he moaned. "It's not my fault," she said. "I didn't want to come to this awful place. It scares me." "Oh, you baby," said her brother. "You're frightened of everything." He went off to explore. "Hey, come here," he yelled a little while later. She walked over to him. "Look," he said, "a tunnel! Come on, let's see what's at the other end." "No, you mustn't," she said. There might be witches or goblins or anything down there." "Don't be so wet," said her brother. "That's kid stuff." "We have to be back by lunchtime," she said. His sister was frightened of the tunnel, and so she waited for him to come out again. She waited and waited, but he did not come. She was close to tears. What could she do? She had to follow him into the tunnel. The tunnel was dark and damp and slimy and scary. So now's the time that we're going to write an alternative ending to the story. So that means we're going to make up our own ending for the story. What do you think they might find on the other side of the tunnel? How do you think the characters are feeling at this point? Before we begin, I'm going to create a language map that we could use to help us in our writing. I'm going to brainstorm some adjectives, some openers, some feelings and some conjunctions. This is going to come in really handy when we're writing our ending. So the adjectives I'm going to put in my mat are dangerous, confident, breathtaking, gigantic and astonishing. Remember, an adjective is a describing word. Now on to feelings. We can use these words to describe how the characters are feeling. Let's see what we've got. Anxious, curious, surprised, suspicious, amused, and elated. So now we're on to openers. We can use these openers to start our sentences. We've got next, despite, at last, then, when, and all of a sudden. Now on to our last one conjunctions. We've got because, before, although, and until. These are our subordinating conjunctions. We could also have for, and, nor, but, and so. These are our coordinating conjunctions. Remember, conjunctions are used to join sentences together. Now, if you would like to use any language from this language map, pause the video and magpie some ideas down. Now I'm going to begin writing my first sentence. I'm going to start with the opener, finally. Now, this wasn't on my word map, but I've just thought of it in my head, so I'm going to use it anyway. Finally, the confident little girl reached the end of the dark tunnel. Can you spot some adjectives that I've used from our word mat? Now I'm going to move on to my next sentence. I'm going to use the opener despite. Despite feeling anxious, she bravely stood up and opened her eyes. Remember, it's really important that we put our capital letters and our full stops in our sentences too. Now for my next sentence, I'm going to describe what the little girl could see, and I'm going to try and make it as interesting as I can. The little girl could see white, fluffy clouds swirling around her. She was in the sky. Can you see how I've added an exclamation mark at the end to really emphasize how exciting this sentence is? Now I'm going to begin writing my last sentence. I'm going to use the opener, all of a sudden. All of a sudden, there was a boom of laughter. Now, can you see here I've used ellipses? This is to build the suspense. Okay, let's carry on. Her brother was jumping from cloud to cloud like a kangaroo. What have I used there? Have a think. It's a simile because we're comparing how the boy jumps to a kangaroo. Right, now it's your turn to have a go at writing your own alternative ending. Remember, you can be as imaginative as you like. Maybe the characters end up somewhere under the water, or they could end up in space. I wonder if your characters will make it back in time for dinner. Whatever you do, I'm sure your ideas will be fantastic. Good luck, and make sure you check your work and read through it when you're finished. Well done at having a go at writing your own alternative ending. If you really liked that, maybe you could try and write another alternative ending to a story you have at home. Until next time, see you later.